Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about the fact that Epic once again delayed the release of Chapter 2 Season 3. It was initially supposed to end on June 6th. Actually, it was supposed to end on April 30th, but then it got extended until June 6th. But they actually delayed it for an additional 7 days, making the new end date June 11th. And the end of season event was also delayed by 7 days, making the new day for the event June 6th. So everything just basically got shifted 7 days into the future, which is pretty unfortunate. I'm going to go through this and talk about why I think it's bad and how many days these past 2 seasons have been compared to older seasons. So if you guys want to watch that, make sure you watch the entire video. And if you do enjoy it, please do remember to give it a like and subscribe if you would like to see more. Also, my Twitch will be linked down in the description if you want to follow that. So this season, once it's ended, will have lasted 112 days. Pretty long, right? Chapter 2 Season 1 lasted 129 days. Season 3 of Chapter 1, these are the old seasons. And the reason why this is important is I think these past seasons I picked out are kind of like the peak of Fortnite. So it's kind of cool to look back on how often the seasons used to come out. So Season 3 lasted 82 days. Season 4 lasted 63 days. Season 5 lasted 70 days. Season 6 lasted 78 days. Season 7 lasted 77 days. And Season 8 lasted 70 days. So back in the day, Fortnite seasons were not very long. And Season 7 was the first season where overtime challenges were introduced. And Season 8 also had overtime challenges. And both of these seasons were under 80 days. Whereas the past 2 seasons have struggled to be under 120. Like 112 is still pretty close to 120. Almost close to double what some of these seasons were. And you might think, okay, the seasons are longer, there's more time between them, maybe there's like higher quality updates, but I don't feel like that's the case at all. I mean, we've only had 2 seasons of this length, and it would kind of make sense that they didn't want to change the map up too much just because it was already somewhat fresh to us since it was a new map. But I don't really agree with that at all. We had 129 days between Chapter 2 Season 1 and Chapter 2 Season 2, and in that time they made a few map changes. They added AI and mythic weapons, which not a lot of people liked. And they added no new weapons. Everything was a reskin. The only new weapon you could argue was the rapid fire SMG. But even that was just a reskin of the burst sub. And what do we get through this update? I guess proximity mines was the most recent actual new item. Crash pads, which is a reskin bouncer. Helicopters are nice. But it's not like these longer seasons were getting more content throughout them. If anything, they were getting less. I think the last time we had a significant update this season was early April, and it's about to be early June when the season ends. So we have almost 2 months of basically nothing being added to the game. There's been a few minor changes like the storm that recently happened. They've tweaked skill-based matchmaking, which is nice, but it's not like they've been adding new content, and these new seasons have been longer but packed full of content. They've just been longer, and the tail end is basically nothing. Like this past season didn't even have LTMs. There was no LTMs throughout the entirety of Chapter 2 Season 2 as far as I know. At the bare minimum, I think they should have done something like the 14 Days of Summer or the 14 Days of Winter event during May when they initially extended the season. If they weren't going to add any new content anyways, they should have made the first 2 weeks of May a 14 days event where there's a different LTM and a different unvaulted weapon every day. They've done an event like that 3 to 4 times, so I feel like they could do it relatively easily. Like they already have the LTMs made, they already have the weapons made, all they have to do is schedule it, and it should be all good. And then at the very least, even though it is recycled content, it would be something fresh every day while we're waiting for these delays. But instead of that, we got basically nothing throughout these past 2 months. Like I said, there's been tournaments, which is nice, but that only appeases part of the community. Not everybody wants to play in them. Not everybody wants to watch them. So it's not like just adding those tournaments pleases everyone. I think those tournaments plus a 14 days event, like I said, would have made people pretty happy, especially because these seasons are almost double the length of what they used to be. I'm actually about to add this up real quick. I want to see what the combined length of Chapter 2 is thus far, but I didn't do this beforehand. So 112 plus 129, or 129, I don't know what I just said. That's 241 days. We've had 241 days in this chapter, and it's been 2 seasons. Like, that is insane. especially when compared to what I said was the peak of Fortnite. Where you want to say the peak ended and when it started, whatever. But season 3 to season 8, I feel like is what most people, maybe I should have included season 2 in there. But season 2 to season 8 is what most people would consider the peak of Fortnite. And those seasons were really short. There was a lot of momentum between them. It was always something new and exciting coming to Fortnite. Whereas as we have it now, there's a lot of excitement at the start of the season. There's been a few updates, nothing too substantial. They've added a little bit of stuff, definitely more this season than last season. But both this season and last season had basically a month-long period of nothingness at the end of it, and it just kills all momentum that the game had. And I feel like it makes people's expectations way too high for the start of the season. Like, I've seen people saying that today when they delayed the season. They're like, oh, well, at least Epic has more time to make good content. And it's just like, I don't think the additional 7-day delay is going to increase the quality of the season substantially unless there was some like bug that they want to fix. I think that's likely what happened, is that there's some bug that came out of nowhere that they have to address, but it's not like they're packing even more content into this season with the additional 7 days. I don't think that happened, and I don't think recently with these longer seasons you've seen them pack additional content into the game. If anything, it's been less, and that leads to a lot of disappointed people. People's expectations are too high because of the long delays and they get let down. People get bored with the lack of content and just lack of anything being added to the game. Even LTMs or, like I said, unvaulted weapons for a day like they've done in the past. And the game has basically no momentum. Whereas Season 3 to Season 8, constant seasons coming out. They weren't too short. They weren't too long. I feel like that was the perfect length for a season. Constantly something new and exciting to look forward to. Very little downtime. And it made the game really, really popular, I think. Or helped it maintain its popularity. Whereas when you have these month-long periods of nothingness, most people are just going to quit playing the game or lose interest in the game. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found it informative, helpful, whatever. If you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what you think of this. Just wanted to tell you guys that it was delayed and give my thoughts on it and compare it to last season, because Fortnite has been not doing as well. And I feel like these delayed seasons and these longer seasons with no content is like a significant reason why they haven't been doing as well. Close for 130. This one.
Why are they shooting rocks?
Because they're lost. One has a snipe. The one in like the tower has a snipe, I think.
Okay.
I think this is shark loot.
This might be the last team.
I've seen 2 so far.
Knocked that one.
The black Meowscles I hit for like 66 white. Nice, good job.
Nice.
Got him. There you go. Back to back.
I'm about to be heated in a second. I had 15 kills, 10 assists.